Okay, Marine Bio, welcome. We're going to talk about the lab that we're doing in class dealing with tides, and I think the problem that most of you had was trying to convert the 24-hour clock into conventional time. The reason that we're doing this is because the second part of the lab here, we see that they're giving us tides, and the tide time is in military time, or using the 24-hour clock. So that's why we need, in order to do this lab, we need to be able to convert our normal day time into this 24-hour clock time. So here we are with the clock, and it's very simple. From 12 a.m. to 12 p.m., the numbers are regular, meaning that if it was 2 in the morning, you would see it like this. Let me get my pen on. Okay, it would look like if it was 2 a.m., we would just do this, 0200. The only thing we would be missing is the colon, and we wouldn't have to say a.m. because we would know that it's a.m. because the number is smaller than 12. If it was 2 in the afternoon, you just simply add 1200 to this. So 1200 added, that would be 1400. Okay, so when you see the time 1400, you would know that that is 2 in the afternoon. Okay, so let me just, so let me clear this. So over here, down at the bottom, it says 6:30 a.m. and it wants us to convert this into the 24-hour clock. So we're talking about in the morning, so that's simple. That we're just going to write 0, 6, oh, there's Gian, I don't know if you could hear her, that's my youngest one. I don't think Isabella's sharing with her. Alright, so here we go. So this one we would write 0, 6, 3, 0, and I would know that that's 6:30 in the morning, because 6:30 in the evening, we would have to do 6:30 plus 1200, and that would be 1830. Right? If I saw 1830, I would know that that's 6:30 in the evening. But since it's only 0630, I know that that's 6:30 a.m. 2:15, just add 1200 to that. So that would be 14:15. And again, I don't have to add p.m. to it because the number is greater than 12, and I know that that's 2:15 in the afternoon. I don't think it's, I think that's pretty simple. Let's clear this. We'll go to the next page. So over here, it's going backwards. They're giving you the military time, or the 24-hour clock time, and asking you to convert it back to conventional time. So this is 0420. I know that this is in the morning because the number is smaller than 12. So I'm just going to write 420. But now I have to write AM because if you just wrote 420, I wouldn't know if that was AM or PM. This one is tricky. It's 0005. So this would be 12:05 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so do the rest on your own. And numbers 3, 4, and 5, this is just math where you have to figure out how much time has passed and so on. So if we look here, 11:52 a.m., it wants to know 50 minutes later. So 11:52, 60 minutes later would be 12:52. So 50 minutes later would be 12:42. Right? And let's see, it says what time on the 24-hour clock will it be? So 12:42 p.m. So I actually made a mistake here, because that would be 12:40. Oh no, that's right, 12:42 in the evening. Okay, so that's right. If it was 12:42 a.m., then it would be 0042. Okay, so you just have to do the math. Now, the tides. So here we have it gives you a time chart, a tide chart, and it gives us the time in the 24-hour clock, and it gives you a choice, either feet or meters, as far as how high the tide was at that particular time during the day. So I think most of you were picking feet, so that's what we're going to stay at today. So we have to graph this. So there are a few things that you have to realize. One is that our graph here gives you day on the x-axis, day 1, day 2, 3, 4. So there's 24 hours in each day. So I'll show you how to tackle that in a second. And then we have our y-axis, and our y-axis has to be the tide height. So we will need to know what the smallest tide is and what the highest high tide is, because we don't want our graph to be this big in the corner. We want to make it pretty decent in size. So we want to keep a mental note that our lowest tide looks like it's 0.2 feet, and our highest tide looks like it's 4.1 feet. So let's go back to the graph. Now this is pretty small for me to write on in the computer, so I'm going to have to make this bigger, and then we will, I don't know if I can now, let's see. No, okay. Oh, there it goes. Okay, being a little finicky. So I won't do the whole thing for you up the y-axis, but you'll get the idea, and you should be able to finish it on your own, I hope. All right, so here we have day 1, 2, 3, and 4. We want to make sure that each day is represented as far as the 24-hour day goes. So what we're going to do here, this would be 4, this would be 8, 12, 16, 20. This line would represent 24, and then it's going to start over again. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And then it starts over again. 4, 8, so on. So this is representing the 24-hour day for day 1, the 24-hour day for day 2, and so on. And then we said our smallest tide was 0.2 feet, and our highest tide was 4.1 feet. So in class, we had to label this, and it's very hard to write on this sideways, so bear with me. So this was height. And then we need to say the units, so we'll say feet. All right, now we're going to go up. The way we did this in class is we went 0, and then we went up by 4. Or we went up by ones, but every 4 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the way up to 5. I don't know if you could hear them upstairs. I hope not. All right, so this would be this would represent 0.25 feet, 0.5 feet, 0.75, and 1. 1.25, 1.50, 1.75, and 2.0. And then you're just plotting the points. So let me look on my sheet here. So on day 1, at 2:57 in the morning, so here's 4 in the morning, this is 8 in the morning, this is 12 in the afternoon, 16 is what time? 4, 20 is 8, right? And then we have midnight. So 2:57 in the morning is here. So I'm at day 1 on the first page of the lab, right? It says hours and minutes, 2:57. So that's 2:57 in the morning. It was at 3.6 feet. So 2.57, somewhere around here, just estimate it. And then you're going to go all the way up to 3.6 and put a point. Now it's above what we could see here, so I'm just going to leave it for right now. The next time was 9:11 a.m. and it was at 0.4. So here's 8. All right, 0.5 is here. So I'm just going to put a little point right over here, right below 0.5 and a little bit to the right of 8. And I'm going to put a little circle around it. Then the next time was 15:21 and it was at 4. So again, it's above, so I can't do it. 22:11, here's 20. So 22 is somewhere right around here. It was at 0.5. So I'm going to go up to 0.5 and put a point. and I'll put a circle. And you just keep going through. And then what's going to happen is you're going to notice, you're going to plot your points. And I saw some people today in class, they weren't plotting the points consecutively. So you want to make sure that your line comes down and you hit your points in the order that you plotted them. And then that's going to go up to 4, and it's going to come back down to this one, and then it's going to go up somewhere over here and then come down. So you're going to have this cyclical looking graph when you're done. And then, let me clear this. So you could always rewind this if you need to. So I'm going to clear this. Go to the question page. And let me just shrink this. It's not letting me shrink. All right, so I'll just scroll down. All right, so it's just the questions are based on your graph and on the first page of the lab. It says record the greatest amount of time between 2 high tides. So you could either use your graph or come here. And I'm going to come here just because my graph is gone now. So you look at your high tides. How do you know which one your high tides are? Your high tides are here, the highest numbers for the day. All right, so these are your high tides. So you're going to go here to here and see what difference in time it is. Then you're going to go to the next high tide, here and here. How much time passed, because this is your next high tide. How much time elapsed from this point to this point, and then from this point to this point, and record, and then you have to figure out which one had the greatest amount of time. All right, the next question. Record the least amount of time between 2 high tides. You did the math already. See what your least amount of time that elapsed was. And then add the 2 together, 1 and 2, and divide by 2 for the average. Okay? For the mean. And so on. So it's just answering the questions based on your graph. And at this point in your high school career, you should be able to do this, is my guess. So the only ones that you might have a problem with is here. All right, how many days until the next moon phase? How many spring tides per month? So you would need to know what a spring tide is, what a neap tide was. You looked that up in class last week. And then the moon phases are here. We move this on the first page of the lab. Here are the moon phase. You have new moon, first quarter, full moon, and so on. So if you look down, it shows you that on day 1, which is equivalent to day 1, that Tuesday up here, it was at, here's the symbol, it was at the last quarter. So use this to answer those questions and do the best you can. We'll go over it in class tomorrow. I just want you guys to try. By the time tomorrow, those of you that watch this video, I'm assuming that you should have all of this done and maybe have struggled on these questions here, but you have the internet, and I'm hoping you take advantage of that and try to answer all the questions. So I hope this video was helpful, and if you want, you could replay it, you could pause it at certain points, but we'll finish this up together in class tomorrow. Have a good night.